Hey everybody, today we are talking about the GoPro settings for a cinematic look. I will show you 4 things to consider in your settings if you want to give your GoPro videos a cinematic look. At the beginning I will show you some images I took yesterday during a walk with my Hero 6. See you later! As it's all about the camera settings today, I'm going to make another video about some general principles you should keep in mind for a cinematic look. So if you're new here and are interested, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So let's take a look at the 4 things you should consider in your settings now. First of all, you have to choose the correct frame rate. Most movies use a frame rate of 24 frames per second. A frame rate of 60 frames per second looks more fluid, but in any case less cinematic. A higher frame rate should only be set if you want to create slow motion later on, for example 120 frames per second and a slow motion of 20%. The advantage of a low frame rate is also that it is suitable for low light situations. However, the low frame rate of 24 frames per second also has disadvantages. For the correct motion blur, the shutter speed should have exactly twice the value of the frame rate. Only then does movement look natural and cinematic. At the frame rate of 24 frames per second, the shutter speed should be at 1/48 of a second. A higher shutter speed would cause movements to look nervous and choppy. Some action films use this nervous look to make fight scenes look dramatic. In most cases, however, the video appears unnatural and shaky if the shutter speed is too high. But a shutter speed of 1/48 of a second has the problem that it leads to overexposure in sunlight. You can easily test this by changing the shutter speed under ProTune and looking at the display. In sunshine and lots of light, the image will be clearly overexposed. There are a few solutions to this problem. The best solution is an ND filter. This reduces the incident light and you can set a frame rate of 24 frames per second and a slow shutter speed. ND filters for GoPro are available in all price ranges. I'll put you some links in the description. Another solution would be to use a frame rate of 24 frames per second only for shots where there is not much movement, which could be difficult with a GoPro. The problem of motion blur is not so important for slow motion. So if you shoot in 120 frames per second, then play it in 20% slow motion, the video looks relatively good, even if the shutter speed was actually too high. In addition to the frame rate, you should also take care of the GoPro's fisheye look. The distortion produced by this does not look cinematic. You can reduce the fisheye look in different ways. The simplest option is the setting linear as field of view. Linear is unfortunately not available for 4K and also not in HEVC modes, for example 2.7K and 120 frames per second. However, you should be aware that linear significantly reduces the field of view compared to wide. In addition, linear is not free of distortion. For action shots, for example for skiing, I still use a wide field of view. It is also possible to remove the distortion in post. More about that next time. Now you should take care of the sharpness. For a cinematic look, the video should not look artificially sharpened. The default settings, the image is sharpened digitally by the camera. This not only results in artifacts, the image also looks artificial and digital, but not cinematic. For a cinematic look, you should activate ProTune and at least reduce the sharpness to medium. The result looks quite good. If you reduce the sharpness to low, you should sharpen it later on. Otherwise the image looks very soft. Unfortunately, I had to find out that the current firmware of the GoPro Hero 6 contains another bug. Because in 1080p and the wide field of view, the image is much sharper in the medium setting than in sharp. I hope that GoPro will fix this bug with the next update. Finally, you should activate the flat color profile, so that you can improve the dynamic range of your recording. Almost every movie uses a certain color grading to create a certain mood. In order to do this as well as possible, you need recordings that you can change optimally. You can do this best with a flat color profile. I hope the video was informative for you, you support my channel with a like, and see you next time.